I have been away a while, but it's because I've been on a secret project. This, ladies and gentlemen, is The Traveler from Cronos A New Dawn by BlooberTeam. That's the same company that did the Silent Hill 2 remake recently, and they did a fine job. And this is their new game, and they sent me an email like back in February, March, and said, hey man, could you possibly make the character from our game? And I said, I think I can. And so I went ahead and gave it a shot, and this is what we came out with. This guy is massive. He's almost 7 feet tall. I'll stand over here so you can see. I'm 6'2", and he's much bigger than me. And this took all the skills that I have ever acquired, even since I was working on old muscle cars from the 60s when I was a wee lad. I used to do a lot of body work, and I had to pull those skills in because I had to use a lot of fiberglass and polyester Bondo type stuff to fuse it and fix cracks and all sorts of things. So this is by far the biggest character I have ever made. He's huge. It's the biggest project I've ever undertaken. It was fraught with all kinds of challenges and mishaps and accidents, and I even ended up in the hospital at one point. I had got chemical burns in my eyes. It was one hell of a ride, but we got him done. For a while there, I was feeling like, oh my goodness, you know, but we pulled through. I had a lot of great people step in to help, and I want to give my thanks to them, to Andrew Southward, to Andy Cameran, to Richard, my model painter guy who came over several days and threw all kinds of effort and his skills into helping paint some of the parts. Claire, who painted the back. Horace, who helped with some of the modeling, and Howell, who did some of the detail work on the model. So everybody that helped, big thanks to you guys. But immensely, hugely, thanks to Bloober. I gotta urge you guys, buy this game. It's a hella fun, great job that they did. It's an immersive world, it's dark, it's gritty. It kind of reminds me of like Stranger Things crossed with Dead Space, the design and the artwork. Superb, love it. And they support independent creators and artists like myself. And you have got to appreciate that, because if they didn't hire people like me, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. So huge, huge thank you to them. So let me give you a rundown. Let me show you how this was put together. I'm going to swap the camera around you. So the Traveler, so he's got this shoulder mounted light, and that helps him navigate the dark, mysterious world that he's traveling around in and killing these horrible monsters. And yes, I had to do the wiring through here. Actually, the battery source is inside the neck, and he has another LED in the back, and I had to wire it from the back up through, and the battery power is actually lodged in here. I had some tubing left from when I did the Xenomorph like 2 years ago that came in really handy for this part. The shoulders, I had to stitch these together myself. It's probably the only fabric on the whole model. The spikes, I wired up this control panel as well. It's got a switch there. We had to painstakingly paint and assemble all the small pieces. So this part is separate, this is separate, all the keys are separate. I had to put the screen in here, and I had to print up that screen in translucent acrylic. And this is the radio box. It's also powered from internals. There's some surgical tubing there. I had to order an old-fashioned telephone wire and plug that in there. But everything was either airbrushed or hand-painted. You can see there's a tremendous amount of rust work that we put in. I did most of the rust. It's a lot of fun doing rust. It's so funny because when I was restoring all these old muscle cars, I was trying to get rid of this stuff. And in this case, I was trying to add it in and make it look as real as I could. So there's a lot of corrosion. A lot of that good detail that came out from the model showed up in this helmet. And you can see it's gorgeous the way it came out. Yeah, that's an old USB cable that I had chopped up and put in there. It was actually still quite good. It was brand new, I just never used it. And it was still in the bag, and I thought, well, that's the right color. So you have to work with what you've got. Richard did a great job painting the gun and the hand. This was done using airbrush paints from Gahleeri. and airbrush gun from Gahleeri, and this. Oh shit! Well, that's what we don't need. Whoop! That damn thing went off, so I had to edit that out. But yes, so thanks to Richard for painting the hand and the gun. We used a lot of Gahleeri airbrush paints. They're over there, and the Gahleeri airbrushes. We also used the graphite for this, and that worked brilliantly. We painted it solid black and then polished it with a graphite powder, and it came out with this kind of metallic. That bullet casing actually comes out, but we're leaving it in there for now. The base. This was brilliant. We put this together outside. It was my idea. I had to make a form. We used a lot of cat litter, and we built a form using trash bags over a big pile of cat litter and buckets. And we put some material over that, some plastic wrap, and then we built it up with fiberglass to give the shape. We had to bring the legs out and mount it on there. So you could, I had to make sure that the position of the final form was going to match his stance. And so we built it up and built it up and built it up. And then Richard also does some 3D printing himself, but he does the extruded plastic, which I think is called FDM. And he printed up this concrete that I acquired. And then we painstakingly rusted all of the steel rebar that pops out of it. We did the cracks, we did the weathering, we did everything. There's that radio box again. Oh yeah. And then, it was really tough mounting him because we had to line up the steel rods in there so he doesn't fall over, because he is quite heavy. Now, I had some restrictions here because he needed to fit. We were going to try to get him air freighted. So he's disassemblable. I had to leave the waist separate from the legs. So the torso comes off, and I've got 2 rods in there to hold him in place. But yeah, this was really tricky. And there's only so much of a gap that you cannot have when you've got a disassemblable like that. And so we did the best we could. The belt was actually separate too. You could see the gap there. I had to print this up, try to hide the seams. And the arms are detachable right around the elbow. We've got some bolts going in both arms to hold them in. This is also to prevent any damage in shipping. But we were restricted in where we could build him up to what height before there was a separation point. So he could be disassembled because shipping said maximum height was 1.6 meters. And he was way too tall so I had to cut him at the waist, unfortunately. But you know what? I think it's great because that means he's going to be easier to carry around. And the arms we wanted detachable because, anybody, like sending it, there's a good chance it rolls, it snaps an arm off. It also gives them a little movement. So if anybody bumps into it, it'll give a little bit instead of just breaking. Because, this stuff, the material we used a lot of ABS-like resin, which has some little flex. It's a little tougher. It doesn't shatter as much. But there's always a risk that you could damage the sculpt. It could fall, it could break, it could crack. And it is impact resistant, but you don't want to be hitting this thing with a baseball bat or bumping into it very, very hard, because these things can have a couple of issues if you do that. But the back, Claire did a lot of the paint work back here, the purples. So I mixed up the colors, most of them. And we used some Vallejo paints as well. But again, we used mostly these, and I've got a great relationship with them. They actually sent those over for me to use, and I really appreciate that. There's actually links if you guys are interested in trying these. The metallic ones were awesome, and they've got a discount code as well attached to that, so if you want to grab them. But yeah, so yeah, she did this, and it came out just excellent. You can see the weathering, you can see the damage. It's a lot of fun when you've got a character like this that has weathering and damage, because it's messy, but it's supposed to be messy. And so if you screw up a little bit, or if you make a mistake somewhere, it looks like it belongs there. So it's great. Works out for everyone's benefit. But as you can see, this was a gigantic job. It was huge. And it took a hell of a long time. So I hope you like the tour. I hope you like the outcome. I had to put this wire in. I missed it. the other day, and I was like, so I got it put in there, which wasn't hard, thankfully. I painted this on the other day. There was just a couple things I missed, and I saw in the pictures when I was going back over it. Oh, and these spikes, I left these off. They're actually in a box over here with all the extra parts. That's a part that goes on his waist, on his belt. But yes, I put all these in there for BlooberTeam to use to assemble, because when I put him in the box in the crates, these are going to be, you know, he'd be laying on this side and they'd snap off. So there's a few tiny little pieces that I've left off just so they can assemble it more safely when they get it in their office. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you like this review. That's me again. That's right. Massive. Oh, it's also a way for me to signal to you guys that I can make stuff like this now. I can make large, full-size sculpts, depending on what they are. You know, if you know anybody that wants something like this, it ain't cheap, but I can do it. It is now within my power. So, hope you like it. I'm sorry there's no time lapse. It was just I had to focus on doing the job this time more so than anything. There was a time crunch, and I just didn't have the time to stop every once in a while and reposition cameras and try to get the time lapse in there. But I did get a lot of footage. I'll try to put some of it up. And for anybody that's new to me and my stuff, I do a primary channel where I do time lapses, and the link's in the description as well. So anyways, let me know what you guys think of this, and hope you like it. Let me know how it's going. Anybody out there that's, you know, I had a lot of old viewers just come to my streams, and I'd like to hear how everyone's doing. So let me know what's up. And thanks for watching, and thanks for your support over the years. Check you guys later. See ya. Hey everyone, just wanted to say that this is my second channel. If you want to see the sculpting demos that I do in time-lapse, go over and check out the primary channel. Some of the videos are right there. Just click them.